Hello, species value nature system. Hello, YouTube. Oh, Maxine Waters. You are a very great woman. Mind me. I don't know you, but I love you just because you look like I can't forget. What's her name? Tina Turner. Strong woman. But see, with treatments of pseudo-positive, for example, with our founders, fact, treatment, nature, slavery. George Washington had to both chop down and leave unchopped down the fake branches here in Connecticut right before the last battle of the Revolutionary War. That was per an organized crime method, recorded. I'm not a lawyer, not a police form, not criminal. There's a Joshua Julian, there's an Anthony Agnew, recorded with interbranch actors and with doctors, with crimes, with identity thefts, with also foreign police and juxtaposed private corruption, especially with psychology, with areas, inter-campuses, with database solution stacking, with a Pandolf family, others next to with criminal roles next to the Samuel and houses near the Samuel Dix house, which is associated with the database organized crime that had the laws that with entrenched that you couldn't even speak about building homes outside of the styles forced from the tactically denatured relationship to nature since before our founders' births. That's why he had the George could only semi-counter extort that left with overt slavery, where it's a completely a fact cheap nature racket, where everyone was invested to a value nature system tactically ulterior, where you can't pretend things about jobs now or then and explain that organized crime at the same time, which was a method. But witch trials were not motivated by fake passion care against witches or drugs. What really motivated that was their roles with database solution stacking, with lie progressions, with lie progression cover-up natures needing to hide from correlation, multi-front, because we had many nations for shared suit and tie fake sides. England, to be that, had to play that. The same thing was extorting them there was the face of the hero, same nature to the maintenance built modern nations rely upon defenses of their own pseudo-positive criminal and seditious natures needing to blame others, and themselves for the real causes of what brought modern nations to a tactically denatured relationship to nature value of campus before it was criminally re-engineered. Already value as our nature degraded. Nature is going to continue to demonstrate negative value nature progressions, acts, and natures like wrongdoers, like criminal and seditious natures, acts like predicate acts, until it's going to come right through fake sides. So we have the president right with other leaders too, knowing that but state scenarios are forcing leaders to be pseudo-positive and to respect that and to never not challenge it. What's that mean? They're exploiting exception nature. The reason we're supposed to understand what is true always and exceptions at the same time is because the identity of what causes positive value nature progressions, evolution, positive environmental change is that exception nature. And is that nature of positive? That range we have control over and the range we do not, which is of only increasing value. But as a value nature system, tactical ulterior from value nature system, tactical ulterior from the market's positions we're in and as today. There's nothing good about this. In other words, so we have zoning laws and means to nature as the only means. Like we have bricks not even as good as they were back in the day. We have cars, but we're still in the infrastructural pathology forced since before cars, since before our founders' births, and with the recorded fact, cheaping nature of slavery, identity thefts of our founders. Now, let alone what that did with areas, identity thefts. That's why we have shootings. Those kids had pseudo education. Those kids were told, in other words, you have to talk about things, about, respect for the law and things like that. But you have to be able to know exception nature. Otherwise, in other words, if you're telling the law to respect it, even though it's involved with child abuses, which it is, of juxtaposed natures, exploiting them criminally, consciously through time, here and there, suit and tie nations counters. And so they're reliant upon shared policing of schools, shared originally, negotiated with, and maintained negotiated with terrorism, and worse than that, with threats for how our nation share policing there and here, and of stores and stuff like that. All left with the market positions criminally foreign influence. All left with our agencies defended as positives that they never were worth, because they never could explain the simple, only extensive, but simple fact cheap in nature racket using color, which was using pseudo-positive, criminal insidious natures of positive, pretending not to realize exceptions being exploited. Miss Waters, if you real honest with yourself, especially in cities throughout this nation, we have sicker jails than that. We have sicker people than that. We have the recorded doctors and drug cliques and identity theft cliques with various natures of courts and with inter-campus positions, insidiously forcing wrong outcomes with courts, forcing them too fast, quick, trick, fact, pseudo-positive, fact-cheaping natures, too slow, while they're adapting and stacking lies, stacking fake arrests, fake arresting officers in the databases, making confessions in courts, out of courts with areas, directing confessions to then have other written, and then know that those people are going to be invested, needing to, when they later down, when that's brought up again, needing to mistreat that. Because they're, in other words, they're maintaining originally propagated criminally foreign influence branches as victim predators with their kids and with each individual group together progressively and sequentially. Inter-campuses maintained as seen standing. Not only can you lie to a kid, you can lie to whole age groups, and they have been and are. This is recorded how they are maintaining for missed criminal foreign influences, outcomes in natures, and influences over the natures with nursing homes with the area, on off campuses position. We have a Bernstein family, 3 brothers too, also recorded and confessed with many others from my town and from my immediate area associated with them criminally with CCSU, with standing and retired English chair people involved criminally with houses on Church Street, the corner of Church Street in Maine too, and then with mobile gas stations. Before I worked there, no, because they're involved with sequence shifts, identity thefts, crimes of various juxtaposed natures with kids, with interbranch actors, with judges through time, involved with forging names, switching names, attaching people to fake relationships to others into relationship database illusion stacking, where they have fake arresting officers stacked in databases. They're directing in other words, if you don't call for simple things, the police, or if you call for simple things, if it's going to show them caught, they're not going to tell on you. That's how they're maintaining them criminally foreign influence. Mendez brothers recorded and confessed with crimes with police interbranch in out court with evidence perception bodies criminally involved with a principal sex offender who was just sentenced further. These are people tied to a Leahy family, a Lombardo family, people with the phones and with mail crimes and wire crimes with Hartford Hospital investigators, roles with MPO Floyd, roles with other military police families, like Justin Klavinsky is recorded and confessed involved intercity criminally involved through time with interbranch actors, military police with identity thefts, using their kids for roles facilitated for them. So they in other words, so they're pretending now what they can't pretend on paper, but it's how they wanted them to pretend because they need them to pretend using. In other words, they're pretending they're lying just because other people are telling them to, because they've been lying for years. So they're not following mandated law. I'm asking to report sex crime acts, even with the Facebook page of R.I.C.K, the Facebook page of New Britain Superior Court, recorded and confessed involved. Then they hit that with sequence shifts, and with others with there's Joey Quest, recorded and confessed involved with the police chief's family and with interbranch families, with doctors, police forms, military, and foreign criminal justice cliques. There's a Sammy Vega involved with criminal justice, interbranch, child predators, arrests and roles with crimes with lawyers and stuff like that, with evidence perception predators, identity thefts. They pretend, now they're not pretend, they're using these people to prevent people from making mandated law crimes. They're doing it intercity. That's why how all this stuff got involved. Because when you try to report this, when they're caught here, then they have someone else demonstrate confessions and recorded things tied. And all that led to revealing child sex offenders. A sex offender principal just sentenced. But there are worse recorded interbranch with him, and with judges retired and standing, with a Faenza family with crimes with courts, police, and houses next to them, with the trade center leading up to that, with predicate acts since to hide that, with their crime rolls with the body dumping spot of Billy Grasso, and with their crime rolls with a Dillon family with military and overt gangland drugs with kids, identity thefts with kids, evidence crimes with kids, hit their roles with child sex offender principal and more tied to the campus with that, and with houses in my area with their huge drug cliques, and with them pretending that I had anything to do with those people. I hadn't anything to do with those people. In other words, every once in a while, they had the exceptions. With Ray Clough would make demonstrations, exceptions to me. Plus, they had every once in a while they would have the whatever. We'll deal with this. We have to deal with it in order too, because they have judges switching names, sequence shifting with whole drug cliques and evidence identity theft cliques with New Britain Superior Court, walking by me with faces on, trying to imply things, telling people online to say things because they have to pretend that what they said in the past was real when it's recorded not. Anthony Agman, his brother, I don't know their name, Daniel, and there's like two of them, like a burger and whatever. I don't know what they call it. Anthony Agman also recorded and confessed involved with police crimes and drug crimes and identity theft crimes, evidence crimes with my math teacher and with a Domain family and with Mendez brothers tied to crimes with WFSB and their crimes with people associated with O'Brien family and a Gold family, former Mayor Gold, recorded and confessed, non-verbally demonstrated he has crime rolls with the I.O. family and fake passions, fake relationships to me. His roles with crimes when I was in grammar school, with having people say other people's names to me from other classes. So I would know those they're playing a fact treatment nature racket game, a database illusion stacking game, an identity theft racket game. See how when they steal the color of what black means, what white means, that's serious. That's serious. But clear. These are two colors in demonstration of clear correlation. That's why the beginning of the Old Testament has the rainbow. And Jesus, the Old Testament says, "This is my tool." No, this is the ancients revealed. that everything we are inside values nature, as value nature. No, but values complete nature and identity is greater than us. Just the extent of it is debatable, but when you look into that, it shows you that this is increasingly true. So it is like there are you have to deal with crime acts. You can't deal with what's positive and all that. You don't speak like that. Well, if there's a woman, in other words, we have some sick women with identity theft, fake conversations with me, as doctors too, tied to a Leahy family, and they're with child predators, with their drug clicks, evidence fabrication, identity theft clicks with the Britain Superior Court, through time with their police on and off campuses, intercity, with crime acts, with evidence reception leading up to the 2006 case, leading up to one in the 2000 in the Trade Center context with a proven in-court sequence shift from into the Ninth Circuit. My father had hand-delivered on time his pro se R.I.C.O suit part of that case, and into the Ninth Circuit, and had been post-dated to appear late before the panel of judges. That was proven after the fact. That led up to the 2006 case, but now we're in Connecticut District Court, and those police in the courts were recorded and confessed with identity thefts and with extortion acts and with drug crime acts, child abuses acts, and extortion acts, theft. Property theft acts, interbranch, intercity. And I didn't know my previous neighbors, extended family members were associated with the Covington Street on-off CCSU police, intercity, and with the Dillon family criminally involved, with them and my new neighbors, with the principal sex offender, and the rest of them recorded with the school further. Also, there are, I keep forgetting his name, and his sister, people tied to America's Cup, Harbor Park, in Middletown, recorded and confessed involved with the crimes with the child offenders with a Phil Collo. Also, Dr. Graham, recorded and confessed, tied to other men and women doctors and police forms like state police forms and stuff like that, with crimes with judges retired and standing, and with a state forensics place lab and their roles with child sex offenders further in that group, tied to the ones with the principal sex offender and a former police dispatcher, tied to one, and with her and her sons also further tied to one, recorded tied to crimes with a Zeman guy and with a Pierce family that I also don't know. So they're trying to make fights with me and a Pierce family because I never had a conversation with them. They had her make statements to me, implied with they have roles, crime roles with a whole bunch of intercity fire departments through time, criminally involved with Russians with that. Also, a Russian woman, I don't know her name because they're switching and shifting and switching names, forging names, and preventing me from making a police report this way by attaching me to fake conversations, torturing my family, attaching them to fake conversations, attaching us to fake conversations with the news, multi-front with the courts, forging names, switching names, and demonstrating that with interbranch families, police, like the Mendez brothers, in court, out court crimes with, these are Sandy Hook investigators and their family members enrolled with a prison up there, I think called the Thomas Ward Prison. Also a person named Thomas Ward recorded and confessed involved with child offender crimes with a Leahy family and with identity theft crimes with them online, on Facebook, with the Yagman family and with a Joshua Julian, recorded and confessed, threatening me, torturing me not to say anything through time. Identity theft acts through time. Their roles with the Mendez brother, with Wethersfield police, interbranch, federal crime acts, threats, not for me to report, the harassment, their roles with charging people harassment for trying to report sex crime acts with the kids. I didn't even get to the sex crime acts. I was reporting other stuff because the Wethersfield police have a whole bunch of different natures of crimes juxtaposed and crime uses of kids with each of the campuses. They were also recorded and confessed involved with local 230, involved criminally with their roles with Facebook with the child sex offender and with more police involved with that. And they've been blocking my posts from Facebook and from other pages. They've been using interbranch families that were raised before they were in that court. They were with drug cliques and stuff like that with federal crimes, identity theft crime acts, directed illusions and stuff like that. With the roles with the Dillon family, I don't know the name of the new neighbors in the past ones. Also tied to untimely death, real or made up, on campus that brought up the child sex offenders. Also, Wethersfield police recorded, confessed, involved crimes with Facebook, with interbranch actors, foreign and domestic, with federal criminals, with a Scalora family, with identity theft crime acts, crimes against mandate, and their crime roles with the trade center contacts with them, and with Hartford Hospital's roles with military, police, and families with identity thefts and predicate acts, attaching me to fake conversations about agencies that never were at all, fake conversations about the police equipment that never were at all. Then they were not copying what I said because I waited before I responded because I didn't know who the people were. And Kelly Kazmierek said that her father's a CIA. She demonstrated that recorded tied to the corner of Hangdog Lane and Highcrest Street with school. The principal sex offender recorded and confessed by Wethersfield police involved with that further worse, and with the Scalora family. That's also recorded, confessed with crimes with the Scalora family, with people with downtown Hartford next to the mosque and next to a CCSU school with a hairdresser. They used her for evidence crimes and identity theft crimes leading up to the 2006 case with federal criminals and police. Their former director of the FBI was their federal criminal. He had was a co-defendant of federal criminals, one who had a daughter in my grade criminally involved with the clique with the Trinity College CCSU identity theft crime acts and crime methods recorded and roles using databases and using nature standing sick to exploit. Like also, I had a Professor Gilmore, a woman, the chairperson Cohen recorded, confessed that she's involved with him in crimes that he's recorded involved with police attaching fake arrests into courts' databases, hiding because they had interbranch police leading up to the 2006 case and leading up to the Trade Center involved criminally with CCSU and with a deposition that was tied to people with the former director thereby Luskin and with Hartford Superior Court involved criminally with Eric Burgess and women in that court recorded and confessed involved with a pattern of threats not for me to record their confessions of roles with retired and standing judges and police forms with them and military with roles with bank robbery stuff and stabbing real or made up at the location of Alina's Pizza, also recorded and confessed involved with a number of the people with identity theft crime acts against me and roles with the campuses criminally through time, per their roles with doctors and all that stuff with criminal justice training on off campuses, a bunch of campuses with criminal justice with tied cliques to the federal criminals who are the co-defendants, a former director FBI in the 2006 case criminally involved, and the others parts of that case. There's also a Leahy family attached me to fake conversations about those cases that weren't at all, and then they have federal crime roles with the federal criminals in that case and with the agencies in that case. So also people down the street, a Klotz family recorded, confessed involved with the DeMauro Kerr family criminally involved and with state police and military police forms and criminal justice cliques, like with Joe DeMauro. And I never knew this kid in grammar school. And he was tied to a Mr. Johnson. I only had went in his class one time because we had a different teacher. But that way he was recorded, confessed non-verbally. Never had a physical conversation with him. He was recorded, confessed, tied to crime method with confessions and juxtaposed overt criminal enterprises associated with O'Brien family, involved with that various ways criminally at interbranch police, and with a Gold family, also directed to spread lies and rumors about me in sequence shifts when I was in grammar school, and then I never had anything to do with her. And in middle school, there was confessions about that too. And then now recently, they're the active Joe Aiello and other people with the criminal justice cliques and with the judges criminally involved, retired and standing, and with their state judicial branch offices and his crime rolls with people with the houses next to the state prison offices. And those people with ties to people and or with relatives that were put in classes of mine, like 2 speech classes I have, recorded and confessed, tied to crimes with a Dillon family and his detectives, with a family down the street, tied to the Klotz family criminally involved, with the state police crimes, various natures of the state police crimes, various natures of Wethersfield police crimes, various natures of military police forging names, switching names with predicate acts, roles, with the clique that attached me to fake conversations about the Trade Center attack, with the clique that attached me to fake relationships to Subby Scalura. They also recorded and confessed using Facebook to type illusion so they could pretend to believe them as evidence reception bodies to branch. In other words, Carla Greco also recorded and confessed involved with child sex offenders, also with the police, recorded and confessed. She said that a Scalura family was with the CIA. The Scalura families involved with the CIA, in other words, with child sex offenders, by identity theft acts, crimes against mandated law, making their kids pretend that they are what they are. You know what I'm saying? The guy needs a beating. See, they have guns still. They need to have their guns removed. They need their gavels in my hand. You see what I'm saying? Please understand. We need the names because the judges are switching names, forging names with the police, because then you can't respond. And they already directed confessions, and they had those confessions replaced with fake, attaching me to fake conversations, fake behavior, fake sequences, fake relationships to others, fake arresting officer, a whole bunch of fake police reports in various departments' databases. They're recorded and confessed involved with the crime method, where they say, in other words, this is tied to West Hartford, where there was a shooting the other day. I was just talking about that. See, they're talking about now their narratives that they're going to work on the zoning laws and things like that. Follow the rules. Follow the rules. Follow mandated law. Take the crime acts. There's a DeMorrow family also recorded, confessed, involved with the Scalura family, involved with the other extended family members of the Clow family, also like a Phil Clow, recorded, confessed, involved with the crimes with the child sex offender principal, and the further ones worse with that, and with New Britain Superior Court, and with the forensics place, state police, and doctors involved with that, him criminally, and with a house on with houses on Two Rod Highway, like a Faenza family, associated with the state judicial branch criminally, and with that, and with the house down the street, and the police forms down the street, and with that Klotz family criminally, with a Sal Saviola and a Kathy Tanzi, who were pretending I had conversations about the CIA, because they're directing people to pretend things online, like a Joshua Julia and Anthony Yagman, recorded and confessed with identity thefts with the Leahy family involved with the sex offender. There's also a Dr. Dewberry and a Dr. Dingleberry, and there's a Zeman, a Dr. Zeman, involved with judges switching names with those courts too, with the probate court too, because they use starting a fight, starting a verbal. Either they make women or kids give up. They make them ignore, which interbranch is recorded torturing old women and kids. And the same child sex offender cliques are the ones tied to to elder homes criminally, not by accident. This is methodically. This is how they are with the drugs through time. And then they're using that to keep everyone insidiously having conversations with those drug dealers and stuff like that, and conversations in context, then they can't be truthful. Then someone asks them to do something, they can't be real. So we have a whole bunch of girls and police forms tied to and stuff like that, tied to Heather Hansen and to Joe Del Moro, who was in a summer school with me, with Ray Collo. They set that little clip up because they were with a Rick Chamfayon too, to hide the crimes of the confessions and the crime rolls of an O'Brien family I never had a class with, and with the Gold family I never had a class. You know, I never had anything to do with them. And I wrote it all at the exceptions. We very briefly, and you know, they use their kids for crimes. Interbranch. There's a Christine Bedard, Christine Tardette involved with identity theft, database illusion stacking crimes, drug crime rolls with a Miano family, and with whoever her husband is, Christine Bedard, Christine/Tardette, involved with crimes recorded with court police in out court of court and on Covington Street, with a whole bunch of women and kids and police families that recorded and confessed that they were influenced to and being manipulated by all kinds. They were trying to set up illusions because there was all kinds of police forms trying to react to my recorded request to report that. Since before I even was on Covington Street, it would have been recorded and confessed that they were involved with it. But because strangers have made the confessions about the court police and the military police associated criminally with Hartford Superior Court, with depositions and with fake news now and all of that stuff, you know, and with fire departments criminally, and you know, with a whole bunch of people with the name Alicia, and with Lena's Pizza involved criminally with that, interstate, with New York too, because these are trade center predicate acts recorded that are not being allowed, told on, and being covered up with child sex offenders used to cover the lie progressions, because they have interbranch actors who had to knock me and make up things about me and direct people to do it online because they can't do it themselves on paper, but without tricks and without using courts and prisons recorded in collusion, because they had crime acts and roles and family members with it, with areas first. Rick Chamfayon and the O'Brien family also recorded, confessed in the past and in the present now, currently involved with criminality with the corners of both ends of the street of the principal sex offender school, with other houses there, like with the Pierce family. I never had anything to do with. And I noted exception, which is not even exception, it was the web school is also recorded and confessed criminally involved with the military police involved criminally, and with that. And they were involved criminally with uses of KKK theme, Confederate flag theme. My previous neighbors recorded and confessed involved crimes with evidence crimes, identity thefts, and real estate crimes with the Dillon family. Through demonstrated, and with the new ones, and with their roles with a house behind me, with a car that used to look exactly like the I don't know if I think it's the same one, but there's a picture of it also tied to people associated with Sammy Vega, with the principal sex offenders campus criminally, and with the CCSU roles with that, with intercity campuses, and with past database stacking with them and crimes with an ILO family, and my previous neighbors with Trinity College's campus and with CCSU's. And then with, I didn't know that he was associated with that until after. And that's involved with their crimes with Alicia's interstate, and with crimes with people with the policing of the stores, then the policing of like the clubs downtown involved with the criminal justice record, identity theft clicks, like the Mendez brothers with the policing of Club Blue, recorded they're involved with, also with Charlie Bowles, recorded and confessed involved with crimes, also with Domain brothers, with Fox News crimes, fake news, identity thefts, crimes with the police downtown, with two twin brothers, I forgot their name, Carone brothers, also recorded and confessed with others involved with crimes with police forms associated with bowling alley. A whole bunch of police forms involved with that, with identity theft, with evidence rackets, drug crime rules that aren't to be undercover. They're using that to, as the drug heads, blaming other people, slandering other people and stuff like that. They're using a fake YouTube page pretending to be me with a picture they took from a media that they recorded involved with fake news, with stealing voices to prevent mandated law, to prevent sex crime acts from being countered, and pretending for other reasons, and sequence shifting with that because they came first. They started the fights. So Maxine Waters, want you to understand that that's being maintained consciously, methodically. It's recorded that way. That there are worse prisons than those kids are in right now. And there are worse impositions because they're on off campuses, rackets, juxtaposed with overt criminal enterprises originally and still with uncharged private ones. That's recorded, Miss Waters. We need a man. We need women, but we need a man to show the difference between positive and pseudo-positive. Because the passion we have that pretends it's care as justice is not justice. We need, hurt's not one, but it's, in other words, fix the news, the fake news, WFSB, Fox CT, NBC CT. You guys said you called everybody back. They were directed to say that so they could say that they don't understand people. They understand people. Fix fake news. You fake the news. There's a child sex predator. You guys recorded that was recorded after you guys did that to hide him, to force him sustained. So fix that. You understand? WFSB, NBC, CT. Don't pretend it's personal. It's not personal. Tell the Attorney General, states attorneys are recorded criminally used, hiding database illusion stacking, Alicia's and people associated with a detective Samuda were confessed and recorded involved with crimes stacked, pretending things. In other words, they went before judges in the Britain Superior Court, I believe, and they pretended. In other words, a judge told them not to see each other. But then they did other repeatedly, and they kept repeating it to us in the context where they were recording and confessed and demonstrating involved with interbranch police and with everyone making confessions about their roles with drugs, with the police, and with other natures of crimes with them. In other words, with extortion acts, with sick natures, recorded, as actually recorded. There's a Lacey Ann, they're not letting me get the name of, recorded, confessed involved with CCSU, on-off CCSU, Newington Police, and like those clubs associated with the places criminally, with the criminal justice, with the police forms. It's not just because they're trained, they don't know what they're doing. They're criminal. They're nuts. They're bad people. You know what I'm saying? So let me get a response. See Renaissance. Let's get the judges' names in order and let's go. You know what I'm saying? Since I was a kid, these people were attaching me to fake conversations, fake relationships to these courts. They're bad courts. They're bad courts. I wasn't talking to you, Miss Waters, Maxine Waters. Please understand. Do not entertain these parties sick. These parties fake positives. They have no justifications for it. They have no justifications for pretending morality. For foreigners, you have to have morality with everybody. But I'm saying, but to use that In the back of their minds, they know areas and states are sick with kids, it means, and they pretend it's money. They pretend it's their job. That's the way the food comes out this time. They're sick with these kids. They're sick with these kids. They're sick with databases from the original means and methods and roles with it. That's what it was. They knew. The devil knew that once they fit modern nations defending roles with criminally re-engineered value of campus marcius, of sciences as a value-nature relationship to nature that was original before its criminal re-engineering, they knew nature would have continued to demonstrate negative value-nature progressions in relationship to and as the value of each standing database tied to nature. And they knew how to maintain this, the outcome. Shared their here fake sides. They knew that those negative value-nature progressions would contain lie progressions. They would hold standing lie progression natures, valuing needs to hurt and to have trick, correlation nature, trinity nature. They appreciate and setting up fake sides. They demonstrated how Alicia's, one of the Alicias, was criminally involved. With that, that's a former boyfriend of a Daryl Sullivan from Lena's Pizza, recorded and confessed involved with identity theft crime acts roles, where they switched names with Maggie and with Alicia's, with interstate rackets, with criminal justice rackets, people like associated with Johnny Duke, with Joe Aiello, with his brother, some Galucci guy, with the education department, interdepartmental crime. They have acting teachers associated with crimes with the Gilmore family, and with the rest of the people criminally involved, with people from my area and tied to people in my area, with the English department, like with the Bernstein brothers, with the previous Gigliotti or something like that, English chairperson associated with the Bernstein brothers, and with other inter-religious cliques, all bad, like all fakes. You know what I'm saying? Because they make, they don't let science show that existence has an identity that causes positive or negative value nature progressions. Positive environmental change is evolution. They say environmental change imply they want everyone to be fact cheeping nature nays. They pretend morality by saying the F word. You see what I'm saying? But then they block free speech when it comes real. You know what I'm saying? We have bad fake branches, Miss Water. We have the organized crime that used color, so simple, just extensive. Now they're demonstrating. So what are you doing? Not you, everyone. What is everyone doing? They're blaming on others, not themselves. They're telling people to blame prejudice not just because they need something for one thing. In other words, they're telling people to blame prejudice because we have formal and private still criminally foreign influence. You can't defend their treatments of time and of the actual value of areas and of people, and defend and themselves at the same time. They can't afford correlations means with and as the value of protraction of in other words, correlation simultaneously inherent, active, and progressive means in relationship to and with the value of the identity of existence / space, which is the subject of and the engineering of what it takes to describe, to know how and what's going to cause positive value nature progressions as opposed to negative value nature progressions. Like the people stacking in Hartford, New York, cities throughout the nations that are going to cause negative value nature progressions, worse than the home styles forced be the nature of suburbs since before our founders' births, set up knowing that was going to cause negative value nature progressions. Again, in nature that would appreciate and could not afford correlation simultaneously inherent active and progressive means and value/value nature relationship to nature, which is the identity of existence, the identity of nature. See, nature has many parts. Identity is about what is valued to all at once. Yes. All punts. So it's easy to see how everyone is raised as a victim predator to jobs and to notions, to seeing hurt and stuff like that. Everyone's in their own world, not understanding the nature of it. Thinking that drugs were really what are facilitating the criminal enterprises. When really the criminal enterprises were to maintain facilitated natures of each nation's branches, agencies, in collusion with NAS what they can't defend and explain, the organized crime method. Then and now, that was still forcing shootings to happen. First by child abuses roles, not just sexual ones, as recorded into branch further, worse than the principal sex offender they just sentenced. Come on, Maxine Waters. Use that passion to get WFSB to stop stealing my identity and admit they attach me to fake conversations and are recorded preventing mandated law, which I have to record. I'm just trying to report crime acts, sex crime acts, rape threats, messaged and posted on Facebook. I'm trying to record rules with that, with Wethersfield police, recorded and confessed lying to the media about that. Making mistakes with evidences on purpose. Worse than criminally incompetent, pretending not to realize that. We have no competence with Wethersfield police. They have to stand down. They're no good. They need to fake, threaten, put guns on people's heads, women's heads, pretend like they're about to make a mistake and nervous or something for no reason, and they're gonna shoot, like sweating, like. Then one guy pretending like he's gonna forget to leave me in a garage with the car running when they had all these faked arrests with the faked arresting officer, and the other ones that's forging and switching names with the same fake, all kind of federal crimes. All I did was go to CCSU to try to report recorded rape threats and other natures of crimes. Because if you pick out the right ones, most people want to. I'm just staying on what's true always and not exploiting exceptions. And they can't take that because now they're already invested criminally for an influence. We have a whole bunch of people with positions and jobs through administrations that were lying to administrations. So in other words, there was a 8th grade, 7th grade, 8th grade English class I was supposed to take in middle school, at summer school, and that was set up for criminal reasons, tied to a son-fi, I believe, own family, a Mr. Neville, and to Heather Hansen, to Joe DeMarlo, and to Ray Colello, and to their crime roles with my grammar school before that. And then with their crime roles with identity theft, federal crimes in middle school. And I never had a class with them, with Heather Hansen or Joe DeMarlo in high school or in middle school. I had one class with Joe DeMarlo in grammar school. Also recorded, confessed, involved with crimes with a Pruzzi family. Recorded, confessed, involved with crimes with CCSU also. With investigators against everyone there, making them forced victim predators. In other words, they don't even know because they're relying upon other people's information, like a Mrs. Hicks, recorded, confessed, involved, criminally lied to about me, involved with Ray Hernandez, preventing mandated law for his roles with sex crime acts, child abuses with people associated with criminal justice, and with Sammy Vega, crimes on and off campus, intercity with child offenders with the schools, fake pseudo-positives. You don't have those people go to the schools. If they have, they don't need things that bad like candy, junk like that. And if they need that, you get them another way. You don't put it through child offender. You don't put it through fake people like Sammy Vega and the lawyers tied to him criminally with CCSU, with the courts criminally involved. Come on, Maxine, water. This is overt criminal enterprise. These are overt criminal enterprises juxtaposed with Hartford too long. George Washington had to both chop down, but he couldn't chop down too. The fake branches here in Connecticut, Wethersfield, Connecticut, right before the last battle of the Revolutionary War, meeting here with the French general. In other words, semi-counter-extorting them here with the French general, right before the last battle of the Revolutionary War. Be sure. Maxine Water, why do I have to beg? And see, then they're making you guys defend pseudo-positive. You guys know. And if you don't know, I'll demonstrate it to you. You have all kinds of bad people with criminal justice campuses and with their crime rolls with areas and with cases through time, especially and with the prison cliques, really bad through time. Those prisons, child prisons. Ask Jeremy Grohl, ask Subia Bajario, recorded and confessed involved with in Wethersfield corruption through time with these cliques. With this Dillon family involved criminally with my new and past neighbors. I don't know the names of them yet. They're starting fights, Maxine. They have all kinds of FBI roles with the area and with these people criminally involved. Then they Ian up the street sought me out on Facebook, and people tied to him. So if I don't know if it's the same one on Facebook, people tied to him anyways, recorded and confessed him involved with the Hamilton and with criminally with that America's Cup and with this Phil Colo, with the Colo family and with a Perone family involved with the DOT or the Department of Transportation, DMV, whatever, and the police with that associated with criminally with Trinity College and with CCSU criminally. Each year, they're stacking people to roles with crime methods missed. You see what I'm saying? They're keeping originally propagated and stayed criminally foreign influenced branches, and all private with that. Can't blame slavery on prejudice. Then you're hurting the kids. You're not allowing correlation to demonstrate very simple or organized crime. They're not allowing organized crime acts reported, not allowing mandated law. We have fake pseudo-positive natures, interbranch, and with the state judicial branch officers, and with WFSB, with crimes with them, with the retired and standing judges, and with the houses next to the state judicial branch officers, with crimes with this Dillon family, with this Fienza family, with others associated with the neighbors, with the extended family of my neighbors, with the identity thefts against me, like a Phil Calor, like a Subbies Calor, and involved with doctors with crimes, state police crimes, all these natures of police crimes juxtaposed with no credibility. And it's very sick to have them pretend credibility online. They better stop right now. FBI, don't pretend credibility. Don't pretend. They know that former director, FBI, Robert Luskin, he's recorded criminally involved with this. Before Mueller with those mistreatments and rolls with that case, preventing mandated law. With respect for that, while they're not being allowed demonstrated, involved with abuses of the women. And whether they like it or not, because they want to get out of what they were standing as on and off campuses with CCSU, regardless if that's police families, undercover, what? They're involved with crime action cases. You understand what I'm saying? FBI, CIA. Who's it? Who? This Leahy family also forging doctors' names, women in his family, attaching me to fake sexual conversations with themselves. That weren't at all. Never had a conversation with a woman in a Leahy family. They were recorded and confessed, involved with the women in their family, the men in their family, associated with sick people, with this Yagman family too, IO family too, with criminal justice interstate courts cliques, judges and stuff like that, retired and standing tied to Johnny Duke, the dinosaur of boxing, to his brother with the Galucci guy with the English department, with the educational department at CCSU, with his roles with the former boyfriend of a former mayor, a former principal of the principal sex offender school, now with a kid there at that school, involved criminally with the police chief's daughter and his extended family, foreign and domestic, criminally involved. Mazzucato, the Mazzucato Bakery. They also recorded and confessed involved criminal uses of interbranch, criminal persuasions and abuses of the modern pastry family, associated with the Collo family and with the rackets with the O'Brien family and with the DeMoro family, with the ones tied down the street, and their crime roles with CIA, with FBI, recorded and confessed. Identity theft acts. Crimes with, this is again tied to a proven sequence shift in the Ninth Circuit with federal criminals that led up to the 2006 case with former director of the FBI. Also, one of those involved with a bunch of those federal criminals in that case, co-defendants, and ones tied to them, tied to an Eric Jensen and to other people who were put in classes with me criminally. They use that criminally for database solution stacking, crime methods with human fact sheet. They imply illusion, like Anthony Agman and Joshua Julian, and influence to keep calling me a liar, saying lies about my father who had no criminal record. I think he had something like, he had one thing that bothered him about it because he never got rid of it, was about breaking park rules or something like that. Breaking park rules. Also, Goodwin Park recorded and confessed involved a whole bunch of people, identity theft crimes with interbranch police and judges retired and standing in their drug collection, evidence fabrication natures within the Britain Superior Court, Hartford Superior Court, on off campuses policing rackets, roles with fire departments, roles with pilots and like what is that? NSA and all that stuff like that. See, that guy, don't want to talk to Paul Ryan or whatever like that. It was an NSA commercial or whatever. See, we have I forgot the other guy's pronunciation. He said there's things coming at us too fast, which is real. That's called that's why Barack Obama said forward, because they're getting. That's why they ignore people stacking. That's why you're never going to afford that through these natures of jobs and event. So they're leaving it. They're exploiting. That's just the way they're playing the game. Tuck. You know what I'm saying? Just because they put up the surface of the value of the Constitution with our obligations to pull out the entrenched bull, the entrenched, criminally foreign influence, propagated criminally foreign influence branches. George Washington both did and did not chop down the tree of retreat that now is set to fall. It's all recorded. Build the wall. Come on, Miss Waters. You are a beautiful, strong woman. Don't let that cheapen. Don't be that pseudo-positive. If you want to defend that, do it simultaneously in sequence with and as the value of our recorded mass areas and states locked, jobs, natures of stewardships of kids sick. You can't deal with correlations protraction. They're making the same sabotages of it per influence is missed and per method missed. But we get so recorded, but they're not following mandated law. And to deny that, they're sequence shifting, stacking databases inter-branch, inter-campuses. Let's go, Maxine. Let's do it right now. I'll show them. I want to show them with black and white the difference to the agencies. Clear. I'll take them here. From their predicate acts, they're gone. They're gone. They're gone. They're fall. Build wall. Build wall.